Hare Krishna, and welcome to our See Through podcast. It is a live podcast where we help see each other through spiritual life, where we help see each other and one another through life in general, where we look at spiritual literatures and we take them into context and we really try and help each other see through them and see through the lessons that they afford for our lives. So good to be with all of you. This is me, Achyuta Gopi. If you are new here, thank you for joining. If you are a regular here, thank you for joining. So good to see all of you. We've been reading Krishna book. We've been on this journey with Krishna book for quite some time now. This is episode 19. So for 19 episodes, we've been going strong with Krishna book. We are getting into a very significant and exciting chapter. So I'm really happy to be able to share that with all of you. This is chapter 6, Putana killed. So of course, I love a good background music. So now we have all the makings of a great story time ready to happen. This is chapter 6 of Krishna book, Putana killed. While Nanda Maharaj was returning home, he considered Vasudev's warning that there might be some disturbance in Gokula. Certainly the advice was friendly and not false, so Nanda thought, there's some truth in it. Therefore, out of fear, he began to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is quite natural for a devotee in danger to think of Krishna because he has no other shelter. Sometimes we can feel a little bit guilty about this, isn't it? Sometimes we catch ourselves thinking, oh, I've just been calling on Krishna because I've been in some difficulty. Or I've just been finding Krishna. I've just been thinking of Krishna in some difficulty. Is that really pure devotional service? Here we have the father of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj, also taking shelter of the Supreme Person out of fear. So it lets us know not to be so hard on ourselves. The pathways of pure devotees are many branched and quite varied. They are as unlimited as our Supreme Person himself. When a child is in danger, he takes shelter of his mother or father. Similarly, a devotee is always under the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when he specifically sees some danger, he remembers the Lord very rapidly. So this is our blueprint. This is what we should be doing. After consulting with his demonic ministers, Kamsa instructed a witch named Putana, who knew the black art of killing small children by ghastly, sinful methods, to kill all kinds of children in the cities, villages, and pasturing grounds. Such witches can play their black art only where there is no chanting or hearing of the holy name of Krishna. It is said that wherever the chanting of the holy name of Krishna is done, even negligently even, all bad elements, witches, ghosts, and dangerous calamities immediately disappear. So we might be thinking, oh, I've been chanting, but my chanting is not pure, and it's absent-minded, and this or that. What if we should know Krishna's protecting us? Krishna has been constantly protecting us. So even if we think our chanting is not pure, keep chanting. These negative effects start to decrease and disintegrate from our lives the minute we Krishna. It's all it takes. And this is certainly true of the place where the chanting of the holy name of Krishna is done seriously, especially in Vrindavan, when the Supreme Lord was personally present. Therefore, the doubts of Nanda Maharaj were certainly based on affection for Krishna. Actually, there was no danger from the activities of Putana, despite her powers. Such witches are called Kechari, which means they can fly in the sky. This black art of witchcraft is still practiced by some women in the remote northwestern side of India. They can transfer themselves from one place to another on the branch of an uprooted tree. This kind of brings to mind witches on broomsticks, doesn't it? which also lets us know that nothing is outside of the Vedic scope of life. Everything is present there. And so even if we are thinking, oh, we hear about so many things in the Western sphere, what does that mean for Vedic life? Everything is present there. There is nothing that is outside of Krishna consciousness or the realm of Krishna's understanding. Putana entered the county of Gokula, the residential quarter of Nanda Maharaj, without permission. Dressing herself just like a beautiful woman, she entered the house of Mother Jashoda. She appeared very beautiful, with raised hips, swollen breasts, earrings and flowers in her hair. She looked especially beautiful on account of her thin waist. She was glancing at everyone with very attractive looks and smiling face, and all the residents of Vrindavan were captivated. The innocent cowherd women thought that she was a goddess of fortune appearing in Vrindavan with a lotus flower in her hand. It seemed to them that she had personally come to see Krishna, who must be her husband. Because of her exquisite beauty, no one checked her movement, and therefore she freely entered the house of Nanda Maharaj. Let's us get an idea of how we are looking at how people show up Vedically. Right? We're looking, it's like, oh, a pretty face and a nice, Srila Prabhupada would say, good tilak and a nice dhoti does not a devotee make. So we can look the part. We can look fantastic. We can look wonderful. But it depends on our intentions. It's about looking at what is deep within the heart. And unfortunately, Putana had some really nefarious intentions, even though she looked great. Putana, the killer of many, many children, found baby Krishna lying on a small bed, and she could at once perceive that the baby was hiding his unparalleled potencies. Putana thought, this child is so powerful that he can destroy the whole universe immediately. Putana's understanding is very significant. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that he gives one necessary intelligence, and he also causes one to forget. Putana was immediately aware that the child whom she was observing in the house of Nanda Maharaj was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He was lying there as a small baby, but that does not mean that he was less powerful. The materialistic theory that God worship is anthropomorphic is not correct. No living being can become God by undergoing meditation or austerities. God is always God. Krishna as a child baby is as complete as he is as a full-fledged youth. The Mayavadi theory holds that the living entity was formerly God, but has now become overwhelmed by the influence of Maya. Therefore, they say that presently he is not God, but when the influence of Maya is taken away, then he again becomes God. This theory cannot be applied to the minute living entities. The living entities are minute parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are minute particles or sparks of the supreme fire, but are not the original fire or Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead even from the beginning of his appearance in the house of Vasudeva and Devaki, as we saw. And he appeared, it says, just to convince them. And he was a baby, also four-armed Vishnu, but still a baby, but also Vishnu, Supreme Person, who breathes and inhales and exhales all of the universes, but also a baby. How amazing. One of our friends is saying Putana seems to have had her heart attack for a moment there, then moved back to her mind and chose poorly what to do next. Yeah, she looks at Krishna, says he could destroy the whole universe, and then chose violence. Krishna showed the nature of a small baby and closed his eyes as if to avoid the face of Putana. This closing of the eyes is interpreted and studied in different ways by the devotees. Some say that Krishna closed his eyes because he did not like to see the face of Putana, who had killed so many children and who had now come to kill him, which is wonderful and fascinating. Sometimes when horrible things happen in life, we think, is God callous? Does God just sit watching as a mute observer, not caring? Here, Krishna cares. He knows Putana has done some horrific things, and he closes his eyes, not wanting to even think about that. Some say that Krishna closed his eyes because he did not. Others say that something extraordinary was being dictated to her, and in order to give her assurance, Krishna closed his eyes so that she would not be frightened. So yes, this speaks to our dear friend who's saying that she had a momentary heart attack, like, whoa, 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 this baby looks too powerful. And so then Krishna closes his eyes. Don't worry, I'm just a baby. He's crafty like that. And yet others interpret in this way. Krishna appeared to kill the demons and give protection to the devotees. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. The first demon to be killed was a woman. According to Vedic rules, the killing of a woman, a Brahman, cows, or of a child is forbidden. Krishna was obliged to kill the demon Putana, and because the killing of a woman is forbidden according to Vedic Shastra, he could not help but close his eyes. And yet another interpretation is that Krishna closed his eyes because he simply took Putana to be his nurse. Putana came to Krishna just to offer her breast for the Lord to suck. Krishna is so merciful that even though he knew Putana was there to kill him, he took her as his nurse or mother. There are 7 kinds of mothers according to Vedic injunction. The real mother, the wife of a teacher or spiritual master, the wife of a king, the wife of a Brahmin, the cow, the nurse, and the Mother Earth. Because Putana came to take Krishna on her lap and offer her breast's milk to be sucked by him, she was accepted by Krishna as one of his mothers. That is considered to be another reason he closed his eyes. He had to kill a nurse or mother. But his killing of his mother or nurse was no different from his love for his real mother or foster mother, Mother Jashoda. We further understand from Vedic information that Putana was also treated as a mother and given the same facility as Yashoda. As Yashoda was given liberation from the material world, so Putana was also given liberation. When the baby Krishna closed his eyes, Putana took him on her lap. She did not know that she was holding death personified. This instance becomes astonishing for Maharaj Parikshit and for listeners throughout antiquity. People wind up thinking, how merciful is Krishna, who could give a witch who came to kill him salvation and liberation. He could interact with her in one of the most intimate ways possible. And this was someone with nefarious intentions, evil-minded, with a heart filled with hatred. Who was Putana? Putana was accepted to be a relative of Bali Maharaj in a previous life. And as a relative of Bali Maharaj, some say she was the sister, some say she was the daughter. So either way, she was a relative of Bali Maharaj. And as a relative of Bali Maharaj, she sees Vamanadev. And as she sees Vamanadev, she sees that he's such a sweet boy. And she thinks, oh, I wish I could have a son like that. And then Vamana commences to take everything away from Bali Maharaj. And when he takes everything away from Bali Maharaj, she thinks, oh, I'm so angry, I could kill him. And so Krishna says, so be it, to both desires. The desire to have the Supreme Lord as a son, and the desire to try and kill him. And so now we get Putana, who is this strange dichotomy, this conglomerate of all of these desires. How merciful is our Krishna, that he will create a situation in which every desire is fulfilled and in which everyone can feel happy. Even if the desire is to have this enmity with the Supreme Person. And also, simultaneously, to somehow love the Supreme Person as a son. These two seemingly polar opposite desires somehow become married together when we get Krishna. This is the greatness of our Krishna. When the baby Krishna closed his eyes, Putana took him on her lap. She did not know that she was holding death personified. If a person mistakes a snake for a rope, he dies. Similarly, Putana killed so many babies before meeting Krishna, but now she was accepting the snake that would kill her immediately. When Putana was taking baby Krishna on her lap, both Yashoda and Rohini were present, but they did not forbid her because she was so beautifully dressed and because she showed motherly affection toward Krishna. They could not understand that she was a sword within a decorated case. Putana had smeared a very powerful poison on her breasts, and immediately after taking the baby on her lap, she pushed her breastly nipple within his mouth. She was hoping that as soon as he would suck her breast, he would die. But baby Krishna very quickly took the nipple in anger. He sucked the milk poison along with the life air of the demon. In other words, Krishna simultaneously sucked the milk from her breast and killed her by sucking out her life air. I can only imagine just how angry Krishna would be. You know, milk is one of his favorite things. And milk from a mother is even more one of his favorite things. Now imagine he's a 3-day-old baby. Here comes somebody to give you poisoned milk. It's like rotten milk. Who would do such a thing? I can only imagine the transcendental anger that was felt by 3-day-old little baby Krishna. Krishna is so merciful that because the demon Putana came to offer her breast milk to him, he fulfilled her desire and accepted her activity as motherly. In essence, he accepted her devotional service. Now we say Krishna is bhavagrahi, right? He accepts the intention with which the devotional service is done, but Putana had evil intentions. And still Krishna is so merciful that he accepted her service and accepted it in the mood of service. He didn't even accept it in the way that she offered it. He accepted her service. Now, the immediate reciprocation looks like he accepted it in the mood of the reciprocation, like he accepted the service and then reciprocated by killing her. But let's see what else happens. To stop her from further nefarious activities, he immediately killed her. And because the demon was killed by Krishna, she got liberation. When Krishna sucked out her very breath, Putana fell down on the ground, spread her arms and legs, and began to cry, "Oh child, leave me, leave me!" She was crying loudly and perspiring, and her whole body became wet. As she died, screaming, there was a tremendous vibration, both on the earth and in the sky in all directions, and people thought that thunderbolts were falling. Thus the nightmare of the Putana witch was over, and she assumed her real feature as a great demon. She opened her fierce mouth and spread her arms and legs all over. She fell exactly as Vritrasura when struck by the thunderbolt of Indra. The long hair on her head was scattered all over her body. Her fallen body extended up to 12 miles and smashed all the trees to pieces, and everyone was struck with wonder upon seeing this gigantic body. My Guru Maharaj spoke about this story once and inserted an interesting fact. Putana's body was 12 miles long. Airplanes only travel up to about 8 or 9 miles into the sky. And I thought immediately, that can't be real, really? And then I went and looked it up, and it's true. When we talk about, 32,000 feet, it sounds so much more, but that's only about 8 or 9 miles into the sky. Putana's body was longer than that. It was extending farther than that. And just think, when we look up and we see a plane and it looks so tiny. Now think about that. Think about the fact that the Brijbasis at this point have been looking for Krishna. They've lost him. And he's on the body of this woman that is extending 12 miles. And he's a little baby. That must have been terrifying for his parents. Her teeth appeared just like plowed roads, and her nostrils appeared like mountain caves. Her breasts appeared like small hills, and her hair was a vast reddish bush. Her eye sockets appeared like blind wells, and her two thighs appeared like two banks of a river. Her two hands appeared like two strongly constructed bridges, and her abdomen seemed like a dried up lake. All the cowherd men and women became struck with awe and wonder upon seeing this, and the tumultuous sound of her falling shocked their brains and ears and made their hearts beat strongly. When the gopis saw little Krishna fearlessly playing on Putana's lap, they very quickly came and picked him up, which meant that they had to climb this mountainous form that was Putana. Garga Samhita and Gopal Champu, these two literatures, speak about how they had to climb for hours to go and get Krishna on the mountainous form of Putana. Mother Jashoda, Rohini, and other elderly gopis immediately performed the auspicious rituals by taking the tail of a cow and circumambulating his body. The child was completely washed with the urine of a cow, and the dust created by the hooves of the cows was thrown all over his body. This was all just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. So, interestingly enough, one of our friends is saying they also forgot their fear for his sake. Interestingly, they were never really afraid for themselves. They were always afraid for Krishna. They didn't even have time to think about being afraid for themselves because they didn't even know that they were in danger. Putana was there, and they didn't realize that they were in danger because she looked so nice. The moment she took her true form, she was already dead. So just imagine how many things Krishna has saved us from. We don't even know we're in danger because Krishna is there. And then something happens, and then Krishna lifts up the veil a little bit and lets us know how much danger we could have been in. And then we see the monstrous form of the danger that was looming over us. And then we think, oh my Krishna, oh my goodness, how did we get through those situations? Krishna has been saving us all along, sheltering us with the umbrella of his mercy so that we don't even know we're in danger. The child was completely washed, and this was all just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. This incident gives us a clear indication of how important the cow is to the family, society, and to living beings in general. The transcendental body of Krishna did not require any protection, but to instruct us on the importance of the cow, the Lord was smeared over with cow dung, washed with the urine of a cow, and sprinkled with the dust upraised by the walking of the cows. After this purificatory process, the gopis, headed by Mother Yashoda and Rohini, chanted 12 names of Vishnu to give Krishna's body full protection from all evil influences. That's such an interesting thing of how wonderful it is that they're praying to Vishnu to protect Krishna, who is the source of all Vishnus. They washed their hands and feet and sipped water 3 times, as is the custom before chanting mantras. Then they chanted as follows, and this celebrated mantra has become known as the Sri Krishna Kavacha mantra. It's one of my favorites, so let's all listen closely. My dear Krishna, and all of us, may the Lord who is known as Maniman protect your thighs. May Lord Vishnu who is known as Yagya protect your legs. May Lord Achyuta protect your arms. May Lord Hayagriva protect your abdomen. May Lord Keshava protect your heart. May Lord Vishnu protect your arms. May Lord Urukrama protect your face. May Lord Ishwara protect your head. May Lord Chakradhara protect your front. May Lord Gadadhar protect your back. May Lord Madhusudan, who carries a bow in his hand, protect your eyesight. May Lord Vishnu with his conch shell protect your left side. May the personality of Godhead Upendra protect you from above. And may Lord Tarksha protect you from below the earth. May Lord Haladar protect you from all sides. May the personality of Godhead known as Rishikesh protect your senses. May Lord Narayan protect your breath. And may the Lord of Shwetadweep, Narayan, protect your heart. May Lord Yogeshwar protect your mind. May Lord Prishnigarbha protect your intelligence. And may the Supreme Personality of Godhead protect your soul. While you are playing, may Lord Govinda protect you from all sides. And when you are sleeping, may Lord Madhava protect you from all danger. When you are working, may the Lord of Vaikunta protect you from falling down. When you are sitting, may the Lord of Vaikunta give you all protection. And while you are eating, may the Lord of all sacrifices give you all protection. Thus Mother Yashoda began to chant different names of Vishnu to protect the child Krishna's different bodily parts. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced that she should protect her child from different kinds of evil spirits and ghosts, namely Dakinis, Yatudanis, Kushmandas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Vinayakas, Kotara, Revati, Jeshta, Putana, Matrikas, Unmadas, and similar other evil spirits who cause persons to forget their own existence and give trouble to the life air and the senses. Sometimes they appear in dreams and cause much perturbation. Sometimes they appear as old women and suck the blood of small children. But all such ghosts and evil spirits cannot remain where there is the chanting of the holy name of God. And so we loudly invoke the holy names of our Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced of the Vedic injunctions about the importance of cows in the holy name of Vishnu. Therefore, she took all shelter in the cows in the name of Vishnu just to protect her child Krishna. Do we have that same faith? Do we have that firm conviction? Let us all chant and pray to gather that same kind of firm faith and conviction. She recited all the holy names of Vishnu so that he might save the child. Vedic culture has taken advantage of keeping cows and chanting the holy name of Vishnu since the beginning of history, and persons who are still following the Vedic ways, especially the householders, keep at least 12 cows and worship the deity of Lord Vishnu, who is installed in their house. The elderly gopis of Vrindavan were so absorbed in affection for Krishna that they wanted to save him, although there was no need to, for he had already protected himself. They could not understand that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead playing as a child. And this they could not understand was also Krishna's arrangement. Krishna did not want them to understand that he was the Supreme Person. He wanted them to love him as though he was their own. Their all in all. After performing the formalities to protect the child, Mother Yashoda took Krishna and let him suck her own breast. When the child was protected by Vishnu mantra, Mother Yashoda felt that he was safe. Do we do the same? After chanting japa, after chanting these names of Krishna, do we consider that we are now safe and armored and protected? Or are we still constantly thinking, is this going to work? It's going to work, right? That wavering. The more we chant, the more we can eradicate that wavering. We will know that we have all protection at our disposal. After performing the formalities to protect the child, Mother Yashoda took Krishna and she fed him. And then in the meantime, all the cowherd men who went to Mathura to pay tax returned home and were struck with wonder at seeing the gigantic dead body of Putana. Nanda Maharaj recalled the prophecy of Vasudev and considered him a great sage and mystic yogi. Otherwise, how could he have foretold an incident that happened during his absence from Vrindavan? After this, all the residents of Braj cut the gigantic body of Putana into pieces and piled it up with wood for burning. Which answers the question, how did they dispose of a 12-mile-long Putana? When all the limbs of Putana's body were burning, the smoke emanating from the fire created a good aroma. This aroma was due to her being killed by Krishna. This means that the demon Putana was washed of all her sinful activities and attained a celestial body. Here is an example of how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all good. Putana came to kill Krishna, but because he sucked her milk, she was immediately purified, and her dead body attained a transcendental quality. Her only business was to kill small children. She was only fond of blood, but in spite of being envious of Krishna, she attained salvation because she gave her milk to him to drink. So what can be said of others who are affectionate to Krishna in the relationship of mother or father? This is good for us. Putana got the highest liberation. So what to speak of us? I mean, we might not be pure, but we don't have the most evil intentions. And so if Krishna can show such affection and compassion and even redemption to someone like Putana, imagine the blessings that he can give for our lives. We should be walking through each day expressing wonderful cries of victory. We should be walking through our days thinking, Shri Krishna ki jai, Shri Krishna ki jai. All victory to our supreme most best friend, because he is working for us, for our highest benefit. The pure devotees always serve Krishna with great love and affection, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul of every living entity. It is concluded, therefore, that even a little energy expended in the service of the Lord gives one immense transcendental profit. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is so sublime that even a little service to Krishna, knowingly or even unknowingly, gives one the greatest benefit. So unknowingly, you all have come here. Hearing is the first of the 9 processes of devotional service. You are performing devotional service just by hearing. Whether you've come here to hear something wonderful, or whether you've come here because you are skeptical that someone who looks so foreign can believe in Krishna so greatly, whether you've come here for some other purpose, whether you came here just because you were scrolling and this was something nice to see. The fact that you are here and hearing, you have now expended energy in service of the Lord, and now you are becoming a recipient of immense transcendental profit. Please believe it as absolute truth. You are gaining the greatest benefit. The system of worshiping Krishna by offering flowers from a tree is also beneficial for the living entity who is confined to the bodily existence of that tree or trees. When flowers and fruits are offered to Krishna, the tree that bore them also receives much benefit indirectly. The archana process or worshiping procedure is therefore beneficial for everyone. Just think. Just imagine. When we eat vegetables, even potatoes, the soil, the roots, everyone gets benefit. Even the farmers who are harvesting those crops get benefit as soon as we offer that food to Krishna. And don't think that there is any limit to how many people Krishna can benefit through those offerings. If we think, oh, there was just one potato in a bag and Krishna's going to know where that potato came from and that farmer, yes! Because Krishna is present within every heart, and even down to every single atom, Krishna is present. And so Srila Prabhupada would say, we are not necessarily vegetarians, we are prasadarians. Our greatest business is to take the prasad of our Supreme Lord. Our greatest business is to offer that prasad to our Supreme Personality of Godhead, understanding that this process of worship, of offering our hearts, of just simply being Krishna conscious, benefits everyone without limit. If there were thousands of farmers that it took to harvest that bag of potatoes, Krishna will benefit all of the thousands of farmers. He will find a way, because that's our Krishna. He's unlimited like that. Krishna is worshipable by great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. And Putana was so fortunate that the same Krishna played in her lap as a little child. The lotus feet of Krishna, which are worshipped by great sages and devotees, were placed on the body of Putana. People worship Krishna and offer food, but automatically he sucked the milk from the body of Putana. Devotees therefore pray that if simply by offering something as an enemy, Putana got so much benefit, then who can measure the benefit of worshiping Krishna in love and affection? And that too, what to speak of on an auspicious day like Ekadashi. One should only worship Krishna if for no other reason than so much benefit awaits the worshipper. Sometimes we think pure devotees never think of their own benefit. But here Srila Prabhupada is saying, even if you are thinking of the benefit, then still that gives you all incentive to worship Krishna. Although Putana was an evil spirit, she gained elevation just like the mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is clear that the cows and the elderly gopis who offered milk to Krishna were also elevated to the transcendental position. Krishna can offer anyone anything, from liberation to anything materially conceivable. Therefore, there cannot be any doubt of the salvation of Putana, whose bodily milk was sucked by Krishna for such a long time. See, now to us, it seems like he killed her immediately. He sucked it all out, done. And here, they're stating that for Putana, that was still a long time. How amazing. And Krishna respected that as a long time. And how can there be any doubt about the salvation of the gopis who are so fond of Krishna? Undoubtedly, all the gopis and cowherd boys and cows who served Krishna in Vrindavan with love and affection were liberated from the miserable condition of material existence. When all the inhabitants of Vrindavan smelled the good aroma from the smoke of the burning Putana, they inquired from each other, "Where is this good flavor coming from?" And while conversing, they came to understand that it was the fumes of the burning Putana. They were very fond of Krishna, and as soon as they heard that the demon Putana was killed by Krishna, they offered blessings to the little child out of affection. After the burning of Putana, Nanda Maharaj came home and immediately took up the child on his lap and began to smell his head. In this way, he was quite satisfied that his little child was saved from this calamity. Srila Shukadev Goswami has blessed all persons who hear the narration of the killing of Putana by Krishna. Are we ready for the benediction? I'm going to read it just as it is, okay? I have not added anything. I have not subtracted anything. The benediction is, for all who hear the narration of the killing of Putana by Krishna, they will surely attain the favor of Govinda. Govinda, Govinda, Govinda! Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. All glories to our Lord Govinda. All glories to sweet little 3-day-old Shri Krishna, who can give us his favor. Surely, we will all attain the favor of Govinda, especially hearing it on a day like Ekadashi. We've attained the greatest benefit. There shouldn't be any doubts whatsoever. Please understand how fortunate you all are. Please understand how fortunate we all are to have come to a gathering like this on the day of Ekadashi. We have these as many Sundays as I can possibly manage. And we come together and we just sit and hear from one another. And we hear with one another. We have the association of all of these wonderful personalities. Shukadev Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, Maharaj Parikshit, Shri Krishna himself, Mother Jashoda, Rohini, Maharaj Nanda, Vasudev Maharaj, Devaki Rani. We have the association of so many great personalities each Sunday and each other. And we get to hear about the unparalleled, super excellent pastimes of our dearest, sweetest, best friend. And then we hear the lessons that they involve for our lives. And we get such great benedictions. We are now highly favored by Krishna. We should be repeating it to ourselves every day. I listened to the story. Krishna promised me, so I'm favored. I am going to quickly attain Krishna's favor. I am quickly going to attain Krishna's favor. And now I kind of want to look up. Let's see. The dictionary definition of the word favor. Approval, support, or liking for someone or something. Which means if we are attaining Krishna's favor, we are now going to be attaining his approval, his support. And Krishna likes us. If you were ever wondering, does Krishna like me? Here now you've received your answer. Yes, he does. And how can we have faith in that? Because we've attained his favor just by listening to this story. So you can know for certain, you can be sure of the fact that Krishna likes you. He approves of you, which is big. And he's offering his support. Yet another, an act of kindness beyond what is due or usual. That's like, I've come to ask a favor of you, right? An act of kindness beyond what is due or usual. Krishna will be performing acts of kindness in our lives beyond what we even deserve. Krishna will be giving us mercy beyond what we deserve, beyond what is usual, unusual mercy. To give someone something that they want, to oblige or accommodate, gratify, satisfy, humor, or indulge someone. These are all the synonyms of favor. Just imagine we are gaining all of this from Krishna. He will oblige us. He will indulge us. He will listen to us. He will be there to give us what we need. He will be there to give us what we want for most within our hearts. This is the benefit of simply listening to this one pastime. We've become unparalleledly wealthy. All abundance and good fortune is now ours, and we can be sure of that. So thank you so much for being with me on this wonderful, wonderful Ekadashi. There are so many of our YouTube regulars who have come in. Ashi, Sonam, my own brother. So good to see all of you. Thank you for being here. However, and for whatever reason you have come, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It's so wonderful to be with all of you. We have one takeaway. It's like how wonderful it is that the fountainhead of all incarnations is getting blessed by mantras chanted by Mother Yashoda and Rohini. And also how wonderful it is that the ladies were chanting mantras. Sometimes we think, oh, these mantras are meant for Brahmins and the Brahmins are male and they're sitting by a fire. Here, it's the mother of Krishna. The two mothers of Krishna, that's it. So don't think that if you are in a less prominent role in life, don't ever think, oh, I'm just a mom. Oh, I'm just this. Oh, I'm just one person. I'm just no. Anyone has the ability to chant these sacred mantras for protection and gain the greatest result and benefit. So if you are a member of Patreon, on my own Patreon, I just released a prayer a few days ago. And I was reciting the prayers that Mother Yashoda speaks and prays over Krishna, the Sri Krishna Kavacha mantra. I did Sanskrit and English. So that was released on Patreon. So if you are not a member of Patreon, you should probably head over there and check it out. It's patreon.com. So patreon.com/my name, Achyuta Gopi. And there you can find my Patreon page, and you can subscribe for as little as $5 a month, which is it's a big deal. We've been doing several just kind of like daily prayers just for our own upliftment and encouragement, things that we can listen to, ways that we can look at what's happening in our lives. So I encourage you all to go have a look at Patreon. I've been releasing some things over there. and definitely looking for more ways to interact and release things with all of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for reaping all the benefits with me. Thank you for dragging me to the place where I can reap the benefits. And we will be together next Sunday. Yes, we'll be going live, streaming however I can. And we'll be enjoying the very next chapter, Salvation of Trinavarta. And Krishna is still only about a week old. So we'll see what happens with Trinavarta. And spoiler alert, he's the salvation. So we'll see how that comes about. We'll see how Krishna has much more fun in the coming days. So good to see all of you. I'll see you all next time. Shri Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki jai. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Krishna book ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ekadashi Devi ki